4 years ago as the defense of their World Cup crown begins tonight against Netherlands. Spain, also 2008 and 2012 European Championship winners, arrived in Brazil with 16 players retained from the squad that triumphed in South Africa, the most returned at the following World Cup by any world champion, with many still bearing the scars of a bruising encounter with the Dutch in 2010. The coaches will be boasted this time by the prolific Brazilian-born Diego Costa, being among the team that has gone into the team that will be playing in Brazil tonight against the Netherlands.
We cannot qualify our team as a veteran national team. It's a mature team in its peak, with just 4 or 5 players older than 30 years among 23 members. So we have no fear. They have been extraordinary for the national team, but they're not here for they have done in the past, but for what I expect them to accomplish in this World Cup.
Well, the Netherlands prepared for the start of their World Cup campaign with a final training session and news conference before they play Spain in Salvador tonight. Coach Louis van Gaal says he's not underestimating Spain ahead of the match, which is a repeat of the 2010 World Cup final, which the Spaniards won 1-0. The Dutch tactics under Coach van Gaal have been hotly debated in the Brazil build-up after he opted to ditch a traditional 4-3-3 approach in favor of the 5-3-2 after losing midfield kingpin Kevin Strootman to long-term injury. His team to face Spain will include a core of household names, including a rejuvenated Wesley Sneijder, who has bounced back from losing the captaincy. Captain Van Persie endured a stop-start domestic campaign, but insists he's fit for the World Cup.
I think that Spanish football is perhaps the best football in the world because the technical application that they combine with tactics and physical approach is so good. The attitude of the Spanish players is something I hardly pay attention to.
Well, Pedro.
Yes.
Why would Spain win tonight?
Well, I mean, we have to wait and see. I'm looking forward, actually, to the match. It's going to be a tough match. You never can underestimate a team like the Netherlands, you know. But I think this Dutch team is not as strong as the one Spain play against in South Africa. It's a mix between, you know, some veterans like Van Persie, you know, these guys, but it's a mix between those guys and very young players, which internationally are very, very inexperienced.
You have 16 of the players that played at the 2010 World Cup in Brazil.
Yeah.
Would complacency come into the squad because they think we're the world champions, we've done it before, we can do it again?
I don't think a coach like Vicente Del Bosque is going to allow that to happen. I mean, he's extremely careful with that. You can't take anything for granted in football. You have to respect your rival. This is the philosophy of Vicente Del Bosque. So I don't see these guys taking anything for granted. They are going to go out there and they are going to do their best.
Blanca, you talked about the Real Madrid players in the team. The Real Madrid and Barcelona play a very different type of football. True. The philosophy that is at the national team is more Barcelona than Real Madrid.
Yes, it is.
How will that be mixed?
Well, I mean, it has always been mixed, and before we had several World Cups when we could see that the synchronization wasn't that good because of this difference in strategy. But now, and especially in 2010, we saw how actually those strategies did mix and did create this perfect teamwork. And I think that this is what we're going to see tonight. We've got a terrific alienation. I think that this year we've got the alienation, not even in 2010. What we've got this year, we're not going to have it probably ever again.
Alonso, what I remember about Spain, the last match, when I really wanted Spain to win, the only time I really wanted Spain to win, when they played in the Confederations Cup final against Brazil, 3-0 hammering. How will that torment Spain in this World Cup?
Well, it was a very tough game, I have to say. Whenever you play against Brazil, it's always tough. I don't think Spain take the Confederation Cup as seriously as the World Cup. So this is where, you know, things are going to be at stake. But I can tell you that it is going to be extremely difficult to win the World Cup in Brazil. And we saw something last night. I mean, that penalty that was given to Brazil, it wasn't a penalty. It wasn't a penalty. So I don't expect the referees, if these two teams play against each other, I don't expect the referees to help Spain at all.
But that is home ground advantage. That's what I say.
Yeah.
50-50 ball, give it to the home team. Isn't it, Blanca? If
Is
it is
it?
a 50-50, yeah, 50-50 ball, give it to the home team.
Oh my gosh, you sound so much like Goldman Sachs statistics.
No, tell me, at the 2010 World Cup, there was a player that Spain really depended on, Andre Iniesta. I didn't know that until before the final, and I was in Johannesburg at Soccer City for that final, and before the match, actually it was at the semi-final stage where Spain played against Germany, and after the game, the Spanish fans, actually they taught me the song. Andre Iniesta, Balón de Oro, Andre Iniesta.
Correct.
When that song was being played, I said, the only thing I can hear is Andre Iniesta. So why Andre Iniesta? They said, he's going to win the World Cup for us. And actually he did. So, Blanca, this year, who's winning the World Cup for Spain?
Well, the thing is that I don't agree with the fact that Iniesta is our only star. I think that there's a lot of stars. There's a lot of Xavis there.
In 2010, they sang Andre Iniesta.
It was Andre Iniesta, but it was because he was the one to score, you see. But you had a terrific team. There was Xavi, there was Iker Casillas. You know, that man, seriously, he's glorious.
Before you continue, Wahiga, there's something you had to say.
Let me interject. Quick SMS. Dennis keeps saying that's on social media. Spain will have a very long day today if they think they'll beat the Netherlands. Then they put hashtag a Kiswahili word, wataamka. Wataamka, number one. Number two, I hope that at the end of it all, they'll be able to tell us how to celebrate the game today in their native language. Remember yesterday we learned oi?
Yes, oi, in Portuguese.
In Portuguese. As I hope we'll get a bit of action, in terms of if Spain score, how do we celebrate? And if they lose, how do we mourn?
My favorite from Twitter so far, this one is from Ital Vic Crezi. This Mexican will award the Cameroonians one new soap opera with the title.
Mexican soaps tonight in football.
Well, Pedro.
Yes.
In Wesley Sneijder, he's a rejuvenated midfielder, like we saw in our story earlier. Wesley Sneijder is rejuvenated for the Dutch. They've got Ian Robben, who torments any defense there is. If the goal in the Copa del Rey final is anything to go by, if I remind you, where Gareth Bale hit the ball straight, went round a Barcelona defender to go and score, if that is anything to go by, would pace be a factor in terms of the attack when Spain are under attack? Is pace a factor in your defense?
I think it is. Sneijder obviously is a kind of age player nowadays, but the talent is still there, and he's still very quick. In small spaces. He can dribble easily. I mean, he's not a player easy to tackle. So it's going to be a challenge for the Spanish defense, trying to stop a player like Sneijder. Not to mention Robben. It's a constant danger. I mean, he's a wonderful player.
Blanca, my favorite player from the Spanish team, Sergio Ramos. My only fear with Sergio Ramos is one. He can be very erratic, especially in the box. Is that a fear?
I think that he's just very passionate. No, but I do agree. What you said is true. I mean, sometimes he's not so reliable. He either can star or he can fail. But I am very confident. I'm a bit concerned and I agree with that fit. It's going to be tough. We've seen how Van Gaal is applying this strategy of keeping 5 defenses to make the field shorter for the Spanish, considering that for Spain the strength is normally in the middle field. What we don't know so much is about what Del Bosque is going to do. It seems that he's been testing between Costa and Torres, and let's see what they do. Will they pull out the so-called false 9 strategy? I don't see Del Bosque doing it, but
Pedro, very interesting fact there from Blanca about who is going to play the false number 9. Why would Torres flourish at the national team and not at the club? And Diego Costa playing at home. Is it also a factor?
Obviously, it's going to be a factor, and I think Diego Costa is under pressure already.
Of course.
He hasn't got a very nice reception in his home country. I think the Brazilian fans are going to be very hostile to Diego Costa. But this guy, he's got the guts to cope with pressure. I mean, he's been playing wonderfully for Atletico de Madrid this season. I mean, he's been probably one of the best forwards in the Spanish league. So this guy got the guts to face the pressure. And as Blanca said, it's in Spain right now. It's €1 million question. What is going to be Vicente del Bosque line up? Nobody knows. It's a secret. But I will go for Diego Costa as the main striker. I mean, he's fully fit for this match tonight. I will go for him.
Final question to you, Pedro. What would be a good start for Spain?
A win, obviously. I mean, it's always a good start to win the first match in the World Cup. But you have to remember that in South Africa, Spain, surprisingly, lost the first match.
That's true.
They took things from there and they went all the way through to the final. And they made it. So I hope Spain will make history in Brazil again. It's going to be tough, but it's possible. Very strong team there. Still a very strong team.
Blanca, your final comment is whether going to be a factor. Spain play a very pressing game. When you lose the ball, you are on the opponent within no time. And that means high levels of energy, a lot of running.
Yeah.
In that heat in Brazil, will this be a factor?
Well, physical strength is always a factor. But I do think that when it comes to the technique that Spanish football applies, I have to say we are superior to the actual team that Netherlands has. And I do see them going all the way to the final. Let's see what happens.
Your prediction for tonight? Score?
2-1.
2-1 to Netherlands. Very nice.
No, 2-1. Winning Spain.
Pedro, your prediction?
I think I will go for... it's not going to be a big score, I can tell you in advance. Not too many goals, I expect. But, yeah, 2-0 for Spain, obviously.
Okay. I will call it at 2-1 for the Netherlands. 2-1 Netherlands to win this match. Let's see what happens on that match tonight. We go into our magic wall and let's see where we start. We start with Group A, where we had decided that we've already played a match of that group, and that is Brazil was playing Croatia yesterday. But let's look at
what should actually we should be seeing on this table right now?
On that table, when you populate it after the matches, we should be able to populate in terms of matches played, points, and where we are standing.
Brazil are top right now because of their victory yesterday.
Yes,
who's
3 points.
Who's second, third, and fourth? And
second and third is because of the.
Let's go back to group.
The standing. Yeah, this is the table standings. What we have in Group A. This is Group A. There's Brazil, Croatia, Mexico, and Cameroon. Alphabetically, it should be, in terms of points, Brazil is at the top with 3 points. Croatia is at the bottom with 0 points, but with a negative.
Yes, that the other two haven't played.
Yes, but with a negative score. They've got a negative score. That is -2 because they lost 3-1.
Yes,
and that is why they're at the bottom of the group. Next to Brazil right now is Cameroon and then Mexico.
Africa is playing tonight.
Yes, alphabetically Cameroon, then Mexico. Cameroon are playing tonight, and remember Cameroon have got a lot of problems. Going into this World Cup, they refused to board the plane, a chartered plane from Cameroon direct to Brazil. They didn't go because they decided, you know what, unless you increase our allowances, we are not boarding that plane. So that is the backdrop of what people are feeling. And
the question is, of course, must an African team always be that team where you expect scandal? Because I remember about a month ago we were discussing team gani, sorry to speak this in slang, team gani itakata kuenda World Cup because of Jalipwa, and we were naming African teams.
Yes, it's because our systems in Africa. Remember yesterday when we were speaking to Mugubi and Wanyama, they told us that the problem with African teams is that we don't have that system that is put in place to ensure that things run systematically. It's not the people that run, but the systems that run. For us in Africa, it is the people, whereby if this guy is not there, then we are not able to do that. And this is the formation that, this is the Cameroon team that we'll have there. I must admit that we've got a lot of new players in this team. A lot of new, I can tell you, I know Stefan Bier, Jean Makoun, Alexander Songbilong, Pierre Samuel Eto'o. Those are the guys that know. And if the director can give us a few of the clips of the Cameroon team training, you'll see that
fresh faces.
Fresh faces, and the coach has tried to mix a little bit of experience with a lot of the veterans. That is the team that is there. I've seen Esue Koto is in that team. Samuel Eto'o, of course, is in that team. That is Stefan Mbia on the picture on that side. Alexander Songbilong is also there. And this was their training yesterday at the venue of the match today. And their German coach, I sympathize with him. Can you imagine on a ceremony where you're supposed to actually hand over the flag, like the way we take the team to State House to receive the flag from the president? They do not do it. They didn't do it in Cameroon.
They refused.
What they did, they refused. They said, you know what? Let the coach go and get the flag. A German coach went and received the Cameroon flag to go.
Who will rescue Africa, Mike? From the
systems.
What kind of mentality does Cameroon have going into this? They probably watched Croatia's game yesterday.
Yes, they did.
And Brazil, of course.
The biggest problem they have, number one, is that Mexico, who are their opponents, Mexico know the weak link in this team, in this group. If we must advance, a must-win game is against Cameroon. So Mexico will come full attack in the matches today. They will be full attack for this game because they know if we win this game tonight, then it gives us a chance. We can afford a draw in the other two games. We can afford a draw against Brazil. We can afford a draw against Croatia, or even lose to Brazil because Croatia lost to Brazil, because they imagine Cameroon will not beat Brazil after the matches that we saw yesterday. So it's a must-win match also for Cameroon. Let's just say if Cameroon lose today, forget. They won't go anywhere.
So that's your prediction. Cameroon have to win.
If they lose, they're out.
That's it.
Well, on my magic wall, let me just take you through what we will be having tonight, just in case you didn't catch the show and you're catching the show now. Mexico versus Cameroon at Arena da Dunas in Natal. That is the first match that is going to be played tonight. And then, of course, the big one, Spain versus Netherlands in Salvador. Salvador is pretty hot. Weather is going to be a factor here. But these are two European teams. So if an African team was here, I wish we were playing in this place. Then we would be able to beat Spain or Netherlands for that match. So that is the second match for tonight. And the third match that will be played very early tomorrow morning, which is 1 a.m., is Chile, the dark horses of this tournament for me, versus Australia. That is the third match that is going to be played tonight. So that's all from me, and I will hand you over to Wahiga and we wind up the show. Wahiga.
Right, thank you very much, Michael Kinyi. Now, very quickly, our guest analyst today came here because he used hashtag Viva Brazil and sent us one of the most interesting tweets. His Twitter handle is @SpoilerAlan. I don't know why he's a spoiler, maybe football spoiler, I hope. @SpoilerAlan, you can follow him there. Very quickly, your prediction, Netherlands, Spain?
It will be a 2-1 in the formation of Netherlands.
2-1 to who?
To Spain.
2-1 to Spain. So you're in solidarity with our other guests here as well. And for that reason, I want you there to take our penalty. Thank you very much for watching Viva Brazil. We've definitely had a good time here. Remember, we'll be back on Monday, 1:30 to 2:30. And this is where you need to keep it. And we'll also be calling in two special guests who will be coming in as our guest analysts. In addition to our analysts who have actually seen the country's training, they're from Spain. I'm sure they've seen the team's training. They know more about the team and they're able to tell us everything that there is. In addition, our guest for today will be walking away with a hamper, a Gillette hamper. And so there's so much here. There are goodies, a good time as well. And we're also going to take some penalty shooters. My name is Wahiga Moore on behalf of the whole team here and our director, Robert, in studio. It has been a pleasure. We'll see you again on Monday. Enjoy your football. And remember, hashtag Viva Brazil.